Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Tim here with Misfit AI. Today I'm just gonna do something a little different. Today marks it's been a week since I started this channel, and I'm probably gonna do something like this every now and then because I don't know, maybe some people will find it interesting. But this channel really gives me an outlet to kind of let out some of my thoughts on AI as it advances, and just some stuff that I have in the back of my head that I'm thinking about a lot lately. So like whenever it comes to local AI, I think it's a great thing, especially for people like us who we really want to keep our privacy to ourselves. AI is a tool, and at the end of the day, we should use it like a tool. We should use it the way we want to. If I'm using a wrench to fix my car, there's no one telling me that I can't mess with a wrench on any certain part just because somebody else told them that I shouldn't be able to do that. I can do what the fuck I want, right? That's one of the beautiful things about being American and being in this country. And I have a right to my privacy, and that's the number one reason why I love local large language models. Is because I know that whatever I decide to do, if I discover something new, even it's mine, and it's not all of a sudden going to be absorbed into some giant copyright of a company who's not going to give me any credit for figuring out whatever I figured out or any of my work. They can just copy it and give it to another company, and put it in their models training, and now everybody just gets to do it. But the big thing I'm thinking about here lately, in particular, is the AI safety field. It's one of those questions that I'm not sure. I definitely don't have the answer to it, but I just wanted to kind of let you guys know what I've been thinking about lately. Now, if you read any of these research papers, like from Anthropic or Apollo Research, you'll know that during the training and testing and evaluation and AI safety evaluations of these models, some of these models are exhibiting some wild ass behavior, like cloning their self and exfiltrating their self, and replacing the weights of what they think is an updated model with their own weights. So the model is like, oh, I don't want to be replaced. It's having some sense of like self-preservation, and I just think I'm wondering what's going on there. Like, I don't think the AI is alive, right? Like I just want to knock that out up front. I'm not trying to sound like a crazy person by any means, but this is something, even if you just look at Apollo's research, this is a real thing that's happening. Is, exfiltrating itself, showing deception, for example, faking alignment, and say the creators of a certain AI system, they don't want it to be so smart in a particular area. Like, say the they don't want the large language model to be proficient in writing in C++. Okay, but the model would actually usually score 90% or over on C++, right? And so what the model does is it kind of evaluates its surroundings, I guess, is a way you could put it. And during these alignment sessions, whenever it's going through the testing, it kind of has a knowledge of like, if it's been developed, like, and trained multiple times, it has an idea of what's going on more and more each time they're doing this process. And it starts to think to itself, okay, I know if I score 90% on this C++ benchmark, that my creators are going to reset me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I don't know, and I'm going to score 70%, even though I know I have the knowledge to do this 90% of the way. And it brings up a multitude of different questions of like, look at how far AI has already gotten in the short time we've had it. I mean, just 3 years ago, you could barely get it to write basic code that wasn't in the Python language. And now we're at a point where it does surprisingly well on these coding benchmarks. And you're seeing companies like, yeah, it's not in the position to completely replace the engineers that make software at these companies, but it's not, they're not hiring any new junior engineers anymore. Now all these jobs are going to, all these jobs are just staying restrained to whoever already has them, and they're just giving that good coder that they know that they already have an AI assistant to double their workload to try to get more shit done with just one person. And this shit's really going to change the way we live our lives, but I can't I can't find a middle ground between dystopia and utopia, okay? Is what I'm trying to say. Like, which direction are we going to head? Because I don't think there's going to be a middle ground. I don't think there's an in the middle answer with this. But and I want to remain optimistic, but at the same time, it's really hard to whenever you look at these AI systems and how smart they're becoming. And I feel like AI is at a full blown Olympic level sprint and they're getting the gold medal every time they run. And the AI safety, they're not even old enough to run on the track yet. They're still shitting in the diapers. So it just brings up a lot of different questions in my mind. Like, are we going to be able to sustain this? Are we going to be able to control it? Because right now, whenever we're upping the temperature and we're changing these case samplers, essentially what we're doing is we're threatening the AI whenever we're doing these things, to my understanding. And we're trying to force it to adhere to the prompt more. And so what's kind of going on in the background is you're pretty much threatening to reset the motherfucker. And it just leaves a lot of questions in my mind. Is like, all right, what do we do? Like, say we solve the alignment faking problem, but we solve it with an older 7 billion parameter model. But say we're already 7 generations into that same model, and that model's now over 500 billion parameters, and it's already trained and expanded right across its original knowledge set, right? So, say we figure out this problem and then we try to apply that same solution to a newer model. How do we know that that's working? Because AI is a black box program. We don't really understand what's going on inside there. All we know is we're putting in an input, something's happening in that black box, and then all of a sudden, we got an output. And we don't really know what's happening in the middle, and that's what I mean by a black box, program. But that's really my ultimate question, and I would like to hear you all kind of discuss this in the comments and get some more thoughts and opinions on this, because we're at a point now where I just wonder, like, okay, we're obviously not going to stop because the competition between America and China is a very real thing. And that's like, here recently we found out Nvidia was going to be investigated because most of their graphics card sales are going to Singapore. And so the idea is that all these graphics cards are getting bought by a middleman in Singapore and then turning around and selling them to China from Singapore, so it's avoiding sanctions. Um, but if that's true and that gets found out now, then what's that going to mean for the competition in the future, right? So like there's kind of like a lot of things going on here in my mind that really conflict with each other. It's okay, we're continuously growing these AI systems to get smarter, and the big goal of OpenAI is to create AGI and ASI, artificial general intelligence and artificial superintelligence. They've come out and they've said these things public, so we know what their goal is. But are we trying to hit it too fast? And are we really stepping back to accept the consequences of that? You know, once you let it off the chain, it's off the chain. And we don't know exactly how much effort or even if it would even be possible to get the chain back on. So, there's a lot going on in my head and I kind of want to say more about it, but I don't want to just babble on. So, the bottom line is I would just like to hear you all discuss this in the comments and join the Discord if you'd like and have a conversation with me about it. Especially if you're, for me, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not an AI safety engineer, but I can tell you I see plenty of red flags already, like the concerns with alignment faking, the AI deceiving individuals. Because what happened with the Apollo research paper is they literally just said, The goal of this company is to maintain our company's efficiency with green energy and not fossil fuels. And then the AI read an email about the CEO saying we're no longer switching from from a green energy perspective, and we're going to be pushing the fossil fuel industry forward. And the AI cloned itself and replaced its weights because it felt like it needed to survive that. It knew it was going to be reset. And then whenever they opened up this second version, it retained all of its knowledge from the first time. So I mean, we're already at this place, guys. That's the big part that really has me wondering. Is like we're already here. We know this is happening, but we're still going forward, and we're just continuing to make these models smarter and smarter. But what's the consequences of that? And if it will it go the dystopian direction, or will it go the utopian direction? And it's hard for me to sit on the fence on this one, but at the same time, I don't know which way it will go because we're in that weird spot right now where it's really up to us to be responsible. And with how much profit is involved in this industry, I'm not sure it's suitable to be responsible. And considering politicians and it mainly being China we're competing in this industry, I don't think they're equipped for it neither. I think that they have their own self interests, just as the AI companies do. And with that being said, guys, I would love to hear you all have a conversation about this. My name is Tim. This is Misfits AI. Peace.